Hello, everyone. Hi.
Hello.
Welcome. Welcome all our guests and all the audience online. So this is our concert called Interactive Sound. And first of all, I would like to introduce all our guests. Eric Honor from University of Central Missouri. Hello, welcome. And David Cole from San Francisco Conservatory. And Joe Wong Park from Wayne State University. And Eleni Lilios from Bowling Green State University in Ohio. Hi. And Scott Deal from Purdue University of Engineering and Technology, IUPUI. And Carrie Hagan from Limerick in the Digital Media and Arts Research Center, University of Limerick. And me from the Central Conservatory. And Matthew Goodhart and his student, Cosmas, from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. Welcome, everyone. And thanks very much for joining us and sharing all your wonderful music. And also, I would like to thank the Design Day Marathon team for their efforts, all their efforts and help. So our audience probably, most of them are Chinese. So I will introduce our concert in Chinese. And after that, we will start the concert, okay? 那大家好，非常欢迎，也非常感谢大家在周六的上午加入到我们的这一场线上的音乐会当中。那么我是齐梦洁，是本场音乐会的主持和策划。那么在这一场音乐会当中呢，我们选取了来自美国、爱尔兰和中国等等，还有波兰等多个国家的优秀的一些电子音乐的作品。那么在这个作品的形式上呢，也是非常的丰富。那我们可以在这个PPT 的上面呢看到啊，因为有为 iPhone 创作的作品，也有为换能器和打击乐创作的。那同时呢，也还有一些使用计算机控制器和一些声音可视化技术创作的多媒体的作品。同时呢，在最后我们还有一个 XR installation 这个装置的作品来给大家呈现。那么其中有一些作品呢，因为他们可能是这个实时的一种表演，所以说我们是通过把这个实时的创作过程，OK。不好意思，我忘记共享屏幕了。All right， 共享屏幕。好，然后播放。OK， 那现在大家可以看到了，就是我们的这个作品的类型也很丰富啊，因为刚才介绍了使用不同的计算机技术、交互技术来把声音的这些媒介材料进行不同方式的组织和呈现。那么在今天的这些作品当中呢，有实时的电子音乐作品，也有一些装置作品，那还有一些借助于比如说这个手机和等等其他控制器来创作的。好，那我们现在就开始欣赏本场音乐会的作品。好，以上接下来的这些就是我们刚才介绍的，来自美国、爱尔兰、波兰等各个国家的艺术家。那么为了大家的观赏体验更好呢，还是建议大家使用耳机来聆听这场音乐会。好，那我们马上开始。 那么刚才的这个作品呢比较短，但是实际上他在现场的这个演出时间是比较长的。那么这个作品的作者呢 Marek Kloniewski 和他的搭档 Chris Cutler， 因为他们没有办法来到我们的这个直播间现场，所以呢也很遗憾不能为我们解密这个作品背后的一些有意思的创意。那么刚才我们可以看到呢，他们是通过使用一些脑波传感器对声音和视觉进行控制。那么希望下一次有机会，我们也可以请到他们再次加入我们的直播间，来分享他们的创作和创意。好，下面进入下一首作品，是来自 Jowon Park。
잘한다. 오, 잘했어요. 오, 잘했어요. 오, 잘했어요. 오, 잘했어요.
I'm not sure what to say. Is it waiting? Ooh. to be or not to be? That is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep, no more.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This is excellent. Well, I think we have some questions from the audience, but before we take the questions, I do have a few questions to almost each of you. So first, Carrie and Joanne, both of you are using like live electronics to take the sounds and manipulate them and make them have a certain structure of music. So I'm curious, when you do the live performance, how do you control the structure of music while you are also listening to how the sounds turn into?
You can go first, Juan.
Like any other instruments and any other music, we have to listen to it, we have to practice it, and then make the instruments, playable, and we have to practice it good enough so that I don't have to think about the technology when I play it. So when we play live electronics, all I think about is the musical structure I made and then the gestures that I could create to be as expressive as possible and musical as possible. And I think the key is, like any other musical practice, practice enough so that you forget about the technology and you know, anything but music on stage. Yeah.
I don't think I have much more to add to that, except it's like improvisation with any instrument, really. You practice your instrument, you find the sounds and the gestures and the things that particularly speak to you, and you practice them so that when you're in a live performance, you can recreate them on the fly in the order that moves you. For my particular piece, you know, that self-portrait I've performed online in 2 different contexts, and so I have a basic structure that I know I want to fit in, and then everything else is improvised around that structure.
Great, thank you so much. So we go to the other piece by Scott and Eleni. I know you've been good friends for super long time, and you collaborated so many pieces and performances. And this piece is really my favorite one. So could you introduce how you two usually collaborate with each other? Because one of you, Eleni, you are a composer, and Scott, you are a performer, and also you improvise some part of a piece, I believe.
Eleni?
Well, someone usually just says, hey, it's time to do another piece. Sometimes it's Scott, sometimes it's me, sometimes we might be visiting with each other online and we look at each other and we say, yep, I think it's time to do another one. But you know, Scott has a great array. He has a studio in his basement, so it's really awesome to go over to his house and visit and experiment and explore with all the different kinds of instruments that he has. I find that, to me, to be one of the most exciting parts of our collaborative process together.
When I say for me, it's always great to work with Eleni because the music is awesome, but it's also really challenging, which makes it fun for me. You know, sort of it's a tough nut to crack. But then when I get it and when I learn it and master the piece, there's wonderful music there. And you know, she just I think that we just are kind of in tune with each other's musical ethos. And so when we work, it's very satisfying, and we're really happy with the result.
Cool. Yeah, I visited your studio once while I was in there, and I was super jealous of, you know, being a musician that's surrounded with so many kinds of instruments. Yeah.
Well, that just shows how old I am. I've been collecting percussion instruments since I was young, you know, and so it ages me.
Yeah. So, David, I have another one for you. So you are using transducers and percussions for this piece, and I heard so many like micro sound materials in your piece, and also the sounds coming from the transducers also resonated with the percussions, and also resonated with all the environment in the concert place. So how did you explore the micro aspects of the sounds, and how you find the beauty of them?
That's a great question. Well, this might come as a surprise, but it was all pretty much my experience being stuck in an airplane on a tarmac and hearing the sounds of the electronics in the fuselage sort of out of phase with one another, and you know, looking out the window longingly to take off and seeing red lights flash everywhere around you. So I took right then and there some recordings with my phone, and I used those recordings later on, you know, with various analyses and so on to create the various aspects. But about halfway through, when you talk about the sort of environmental sounds in the hall, that's when I actually literally play back that phone recording, and then suddenly everything we heard previously was sort of just packaged around it or inside of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. And Eric, hi. I really like your piece. From a couple years ago when we first met on a conference, and I mentioned I really liked the piece. So you are a composer and also you are an educator. This piece is interactive and also using the iPhone to make this octet. So how do you communicate with the performers or the students in this project, and how you balance the musical part with the interactive performance?
That's a great question. So I wrote this piece when I was the director of our technology-based ensemble, and in the couple of years since I wrote this, I've actually become more of an administrator, and I've handed off that ensemble to somebody else. So I don't direct it anymore. But when I was directing it, I really kind of treated it as an opportunity to connect with my students and sort of develop work together. And so in that particular piece, 4 of them are effectively playing the pitches of the work, and the other 4 of them are controlling the Boyd's algorithm, the simulated flocks of birds. The dots that you see on the screen are using this venerable algorithm called the Boyd's algorithm that was developed in the 80s. And they're actually playing the video. So that's the reason that you see them facing away from the audience and watching the screen, because they actually are not controlling the sound. They're controlling the video that you see on screen. And then that video is passed to a second computer that sonifies it in real time and also spatializes it in real time out to 8 channels. And so, half of them, it is a completely scored work. They're reading from sheet music, and half of them are reading traditional notation and playing effectively a piano keyboard on the phone. And then the other half where, depending on where they play on the key, you get different, volumes or crescendos or decrescendos or whatever. And then the other half of them are controlling the way that the flocks move around the screen. And those performers have a little bit more room to improvise. So in certain places, the score will tell them, you need to be very, very close to the center here. You probably saw the closer the dots, there's 400 Boyds in each voice. So there's 3,200 of them on screen at a time. But the closer they are to a central point, the more you get a readily discernible pitch. And then when they spread further apart, each dot on the screen is its own voice of a synthesizer. So there's basically 32,000 voice polyphony going on at any given moment. And so those, the people who control the dispersion of the flock, they're the ones who really control the timbre of the piece and the way that the piece moves through time. So there was a lot of rehearsal involved. There was a lot of kind of developing the interface and developing the communication between the performers. But at the end of it kind of like Juwan and Carrie were saying, it actually kind of went back to a very traditional musical model where we rehearsed it a number of times, and by the time we performed it, it was relatively ready to go. It was relatively static. There was still room for creativity in the moment, but we all kind of knew basically the structure, basically what was going to happen moment by moment.
Cool. Oh, great. And Matthew, Cosmos, I have another question. Your piece or your project is XR installation, and I participated this project, and it's a really fun experience. And for me, it's like a dialogue between me and someone like me or someone in a invisible space. So it's really a pity that we won't be able to have the access or to arrange the access for the audience to experience. But I'm very curious how the XR technology helped with the sound. Could you explain how it work in the sound perception and the sound interaction?
Okay, so the XR, somebody asked in the chat, XR I think means augmented reality. So it's sort of playing with that idea of the augmented reality is not just the reality of seeing things virtually in the environment or added to the environment that's around you. But with a project like this, these instruments that we create are sort of extensions or augmentations of ourselves, whether it's, the vibraphone that Scott was playing or a big gong. And so it was sort of an exploration into that, like, how can we move through these virtual environments to reach something that's concrete beyond it, but that whatever is out there that we're reaching to still retains a reflection of us, or has its own identity, but that identity is bound up in who we are and what we put into it. It's part of my interest in musical instruments in this sort of large picture. Technically, there were a lot of things going on. It was recording buffers of what the sounds people were making, and playing them back at different times, as well as doing various types of filtering that were based on the analysis of the instrument and all the different partials and the acoustic profile of it. So the sound could be manipulated through lots of different ways. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah. Cosmos, would you like to? Oh, yeah.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Please go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and it really was I sort of came up with the initial part of the project, but Cosmos had a huge part in it. He really helped design the visual aspect. We played a lot with different ways that the camera could interact, and he really took that part of it and really developed it, as well as developed the whole sort of feeling of abandonment, this abandoned virtual environment you have to go through to get to it. That was all his design. So, Cosmas, I don't know if you want to add to that.
No, you actually said everything very well.
Okay.
Very cool. Well, I think we have some comments and questions from the audience that you can see on the website. It's under the comments column, and we have some other friends. Paulo Chagas join us, and people are interested in how we make the sound and how we make this kind of music. So I really enjoyed this concert and also the panel discussion. And I really do have more questions, but due to the time limit, we can expand this conversation in another time. And well, after listening to all the pieces and all your comments, so I think when we make music between the micro and macro of the sounds, we can always find the very intense textures in sound material or in this kind of media. And also with technology of interaction, we can control on different level, we can control the sounds on different level, and also we can organize the sounds in some certain constructure. And then we will have different kinds of music piece and performance. So I think after all listening and watching all these pieces, it really inspired me to the perspective and admiring, listening, and some other like thinking about sound. We've got more perspectives, and also we've had more methods and possibilities to create sounds or reconstruct or to combine them with different other media. So I think that's how I felt after this session. So do you have any other comments to share with us?
I just want to say thanks, actually, for the opportunity to be here and to be on a list of such amazing pieces, just wedged right in the middle, surrounded by giants.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
all
very
so
much.
Yeah, I agree. It's really an honor and a privilege. I've enjoyed really the entire concert. Enjoyed the whole thing. It was really fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was such an incredible variety of pieces, like such diversity, but everything was just really at a high level, I thought. It was a great pleasure.
Yeah.
I agree with Matthew. Maggie, you really pulled off a concert where it showed a huge spectrum of works from our field. So that was really nice.
Thanks everyone. I'm really happy that you had a great time online. And finally, I would like to thank the team behind this platform, and we really worked super hard to make sure this concert goes well and smoothly. Thank you very much. And I believe this concert is really successful because we have over 11,000 audience online from from this platform, and also YouTube, mainly from China, the audience. So yeah, I believe we can have another time next year if you are interested in. OK， 非常感谢我们现场的各位艺术家，也非常感谢我们正在观看直播的来自全国各地的观众。那么在最后呢，我想做一个简单的总结。那么通过我们观看这些音乐作品，它们是以不同的形式，以不同的交互技术呈现出来。那么在我们进行声音的微观和宏观之间进行游走创作的时候，能够发现很多声音媒介中非常非常丰富的质感。同时我们借助于各类交互技术，那在这个游走的过程中又进行了不同程度的对声音本身的一些控制。那么同时呢，又以某种结构对其进行组织。那么这样呢，就构成了以上我们听到的这些精彩的音乐作品，或者说装置作品。那么这样的一些不同音乐的形式和内容呢，也启发了我们对于声音媒介的审视、欣赏、聆听和评价。那同时我们也多了很多全新的视角。那么对于我们在以声音为媒介的创造、重构以及艺术性的融合上呢，也提供了更多元化的途径。那么今天呢，就是我们这一场直播的全部的活动，非常感谢大家。Thank you all very much. Let's take a screenshot with everyone. Okay, ready? 好的，拍一下。Okay. 1, 2. Yay! Thank you very much. Now let's watch the video from the team, and you guys have a nice evening and a nice day.